Hello, welcome to Level Change channel. My name is Claudio Fonseca. I'm a real pilot, and today we are going to talk about the gauges available for the 737, the Pmdg 737 in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. This video is part of a series of videos about all the options that we have for this airplane, and because of that, I've created a document with a video list for all the videos I created, including all the options on the 737 of Pmdg. And today, the gauges video, we are going to talk about standby instruments and yaw dump gauge. So let's go back to our sim, and when we go inside the 737, we have a couple of options. So if you come to your CDU, on the menu option, Pmdg setup, aircraft equipment, and then on page number 12 of 17, you have options for standby instruments. And I'm going to show you the three options that we have for these standby instruments. The first option is the analog. So the analog will give you a standby attitude indicator, a standby altimeter, one standby airspeed indicator, and one standby radiomagnetic indicator. The second option is ISFD with analog RMI. In this case, you will have your integrated standby flight display that will give you the standby attitude in the center, the standby airspeed indicator on the left, the standby altimeter on your right side, and even your standby heading or standby compass on the center. In this case, you have your integrated standby flight display together with the standby radiomagnetic indicator. And the last option is to have your integrated standby flight display only. In this case, you lose your standby radiomagnetic indicator. And this is the setting of the new planes. So as you can figure out, initially there was only analog instruments. Then they improve this system, so they combine the first two instruments into an integrated standby flight display, and they kept the radiomagnetic indicator. And then later on, with the confiability of the system, they decided even the analog RMI was not necessary anymore. So the new airplanes, they are coming only with this integrated standby flight display. The second subject of our video today is the yaw damper gauge. You have the options for yes and no, and I will show you here on the top. This is your yaw damper gauge. This is also something from the old airplanes. The new airplanes, they don't have it anymore. It's just a display of your rudder position, and then you can see your yaw damper working. So basically, if I disengage my autopilot here and I start turning right, you will see that my yaw damper display, it moves to the right, and then as the airplane uses the rudder for this turn, the yaw damper gauge comes back to the center. The same thing if I bank to the left, you will see the yaw damper gauge moving to the left, and as the airplane applies rudder to center it, it goes back to the center. Of course, it happens the opposite when you come back to the middle. Okay, so I'm going to engage the autopilot again, and I'm going to engage it with level change. So if you want to see what your yaw damper is doing, you need to keep the yaw damper gauge yes. If you do not want, as is not necessary for the new planes, that is not a big deal for the pilots if they know where the yaw damper it is or not. So you take it to no, it just removes from here. Of course, if you take yaw damper to off, okay, and then you take yaw damper gauge to yes, you will see your yaw damper gauge, okay, but you do not have your yaw damper working anymore. Okay, so yaw damper is not moving and you have some sort of yaw during your turns unless you use the rudder. So if you have the yaw damper to off, you will not see the yaw damper indication moving anymore because the yaw damper will be always centered. Okay, so this is not the position of your rudder, this is the position of your yaw damper. That's why you need to keep the yaw damper on, and then let me go back here. As you fly left and right, you will see the yaw damper acting and coordinating your turn. So it's not necessary for the new airplanes anymore. Okay, so I do recommend you to keep it as a no, and these are the two options that you have for the gauges on the 737 from Pmdg. I hope you are liking this series of video. If so, please share with your friends, leave your comments below, and I see you soon. Bye bye.